Everyone wants to sort of know your transformation story. And it is, of course, very inspiring being 39, 3 kids, and having, yeah, it's not just a physical transformation story. It's way more than aesthetic. So I think it's going to be a really juicy topic for us to cover and to hear more about your journey.
Yeah, I think we're both on a mission to just, dispel any myths and to just make this whole industry is more simplified. It's so overwhelming for women, and I just think it doesn't need to be. So yeah, I'm very excited to chat to you about this.
Okay, so let's try and keep it short and try and simplify it. I know we can go on for ages, but what would you say is the biggest shift from younger Ash, we know you were cardio junkie, to where you are now? What was the biggest sort of shift in your fitness routine and workouts?
Yeah, so I think, as you said it, I was a cardio junkie. My first passion, I always say, even before my husband, I mean, we met at 17, but even before him, my first love was running, and that's how I got involved in fitness in the first place. And then from running, that swiftly moved to HIIT workouts. I was known to sometimes do 60-minute HIIT classes 5 to 6 days a week. So I was that classic, the more calories you burn, the thinner, I suppose, you will be, and you'll be able to kind of reach your body goals in that way. And I think age caught up with me, obviously having kids, and then injury and just fatigue and just not being able to sustain that level of activity. And that's when I educated myself and reached out to a coach and embarked on the strength training journey, which has completely changed my life. So the absolute number one game changer for me was massively pulling back on the cardio front and introducing a structured strength training program, which focused on progressive overload. And within a matter of, I'd say, 2 to 3 months, there was a dramatic change in my body, and the kind of changes that I'd been striving for years.
Okay, so I know this was actually a question I was going to get to later, but while we on this topic, I'm really interested to know, like, what keeps you driving you to constantly evolve in your fitness journey. And I know we just spoke about like how your body's physically transformed, but what impact has that strength training and body transformation had on your mind, your motivation, and your day-to-day living? Like, why is it so appealing to be strong? Like, what do you physically feel better that or has improved your life? And what keeps you going?
Yeah, I think it really is beyond aesthetics. It's just how it makes me feel, and it's the capacity that it allows me in the other roles of my life that I play. So it allows me to be a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, a better business partner. It sounds so counterintuitive when you say to somebody who feels like they're in a slump and they're unmotivated to start exercising, but because you almost think, oh, exercising is going to add more to your plate, but it's actually the reverse, and it does create so much capacity in your life. And then from a strength element, I think it's just the awareness now that I don't by any stretch of the imagination think that 40 is old, but so many people kind of cross into their 40s and think, oh, well, this is it. My hormones are going to wreak havoc, and there's no way I'll be able to lose the 5 kgs that I've been trying to lose for the last 10 years. And I just think it's all actually an excuse. So I think that there's now an awareness that I want to continue to build muscle. I know how it's going to improve both my brain, my nervous system, my ability to just function generally. And I'm on a mission to empower other women to experience that as well, because I've seen what it's done for me. And I think, like, there's obviously also, there's that cliche, like, I want to be able to run and play with my children and my grandchildren. Of course, that's in my head. I don't want to be the mom at the trampoline park who can't jump because I'm too exhausted or unfit. But yeah, I think there was a quote that I read recently that said, movement is the final, like, common path So the older we get, if you are unable to move without pain, or you can't walk up a hill, or you can't, just basic movement, I think it really can make the last 10, 20, 30 years pretty shit. So that's also in the back of my head as well. It's just like, I want to grow old well.
Yeah, that is my biggest drive. I think throughout my sort of addiction to fitness back in the day, from cardio to where I am now, it is so fulfilling and empowering to feel strong, to feel physically strong. I'll touch on a few things, guess what your programs and your sort of coaching has helped me, but before we get to, I can also go on for hours. Before we get to that, what big part has nutrition played in this whole transformation journey for you?
So I think the biggest mind shift with nutrition, off the back of educating myself, was shifting from calories burnt during a workout to your actual calorie intake. So focusing rather on what you can control, what you intake, versus how much you think you're going to burn in a workout, which is absolute nonsense anyway. So many people give so much value to the number on their fitness device after a workout, and they rate their workout as good or bad based on that number, and it's inaccurate and it's nonsense. Once you learn those skills and you educate yourself, you won't be able to unsee it, and then you're able to carry those tools with you wherever you go. When you go on holiday, it doesn't matter where you are, you can always implement the information because you now have the knowledge. So knowledge really is power, and I think that was the biggest shift for me, is actually controlling more what I took in versus I can't control really what I'm burning in terms of giving value to that number. And then also protein is another big thing for me, which really has impacted. I think that combined with my strength training has had a huge impact on my entire physique.
So anyone who's listening, who's new to strength training, we've seen the influx of people messaging you and sending you or signing up to your strength training for beginners program. Where do they start? Because a lot of this, I mean, I've been there, is quite overwhelming, and we all want a simple, quick answer. But where do you start if you're a beginner when it comes to strength training and not even having a clue as to what macro counting is?
Yeah, I think with strength training, just to keep it simple, I think it's so common for people to want to embark on this fitness journey, and then they do something completely unrealistic, and after 3 weeks they totally bum out. So rather start small, focus on 2 workouts a week, but make sure that you can do those 2 workouts every week for a minimum of 8 weeks. And then I think it's, if you really want to get into proper strength training, it's quite important to reach out to a coach or look on. I mean, there's so many free resources online, but you want to get a structured program. If you were only doing 2 workouts a week, I would do 2 full body workouts per week, making sure that they are the same every week. So this whole thing about mixing things up and changing things every week, it's absolute nonsense. If you want to really change your body, and you're going to need to build muscle, and the only way to do that is to do these exercises on repeat for 6 to 8 to 12 weeks. So keeping it very simple, don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it. And it's literally as basic as, asking a coach or looking online for what the basic exercises you should be doing. And it's like compound movements, like you want to be doing a push and a press and a pull but you literally, you can Google it, find it out if you don't sign up with a coach. And then it's like 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps, depending on the exercise, 2 to 3 times a week. That's how I would start, is literally keeping it that simple.
I'm inquisitive to also know, when it comes to the buzzword consistency, like everyone that you follow within the fitness industry, or even just those who advocate healthy habits.
Consistency, being consistent. In order to see results, it needs to be at least 80% of the time you need to have shown up. And so often I get my clients saying, okay, let's go back. Oh, actually, you were only consistent 60% of the time. How can you be expecting to see results? So it's showing up for yourself, even on the hard days, and making it a non-negotiable ingrained habit. That for me is what consistency is.
100%. So before we move on to the last question, just something that I wanted to add to why strength training has been such a completely changed my sort of way of living when it comes to both career and personal life, why it's had such a positive impact is really, I know you touched on it, but so energized compared to what I used to be. And this is not just strength training. This is obviously following all of the principles that you teach within your challenges, but just as a whole, completely energized, sort of having an energy that I last had in my 20s, and I'm heading to turning 36 this year. Physically feeling strong, and that empowering feeling of being capable of doing so much more and feeling fit. And then a big one has been the metabolism. It's actually so rewarding not being, I'm not a big, I don't calorie, log in my calories, but I've got an understanding, because I've done it in the past, of understanding my macros, and just the feeling of being able to eat good food, and it's incorporating pretty much all sort of macros and foods, and not excluding anything, just that feeling of my metabolism burning it and feeling energized is
at the end of the day, you've got food freedom. It's what everyone wants.
Yeah. No, that's been you. And then two other things. Mood. I know you touched on that, and being a better mother and partner, mood-wise, less anxiety, being able to go to bed at night and not having the smallest thing on my to-do list pop into my mind and then take over, and that I can't sleep and have that anxiety. Less depressive sort of phases that I used to go through, and then also a big one has just been that I can tolerate so much more. So if I'm sitting behind my computer, and usually things that would trigger me, an email or someone who's rude or whatever, disaster happening at work, I can tolerate so much more with these healthy principles, which I stick to 80% of the time.
But also, it's so important for people to realize that with every year that passes, you lose 1% of muscle mass, and you lose 2.2 to 4% of muscle strength. So preserving this is key. It literally is like a longevity strategy. And it's easy in your 20s not to be thinking about it now, but suddenly, suddenly you're 3 kids deep, and it catches up with you, and then I don't want to be playing catch up at 70. It's too late. I want to be heading into that and enjoying my life and being in flip. I want to be still running at 80, 90. But also what you were just saying, sorry, last one, I know we always get carried away, is about, I'm not anti-cardio. Cardio is amazing for heart health. It definitely has a place in your fitness routine. But I think what people don't understand is that cardio, sure, in the 45-minute workout, you might burn more calories in that time. But building muscle is your long-term strategy for burning calories, because muscle tissue burns more than fat. So throughout the day, you will have so much more leeway. Once you've got that base of muscle, you won't believe what you're able to eat. I always just, when girls calculate their calories now, and they're like, oh, I want to go into 1,200 calories. I want to cry. Literally, I want to cry, because if you only just, obviously you've got to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, but once you've built that muscle and you've got to a point of maintenance, you really, really, really can enjoy your life and food without guilt, and be burning calories constantly.
And go on holiday and then come back and not feel like you've lost all of this progress, and self-loathe because of what you ate and drank over the holidays.
You've got so much more leeway because you've got muscle, but people don't understand that.
I think there's also a factor of giving up too soon. I've been there as well, because cardio, and I still do run. I just have gone from 6 days a week of running and doing a hell of a lot of endurance races per year to doing runs when I feel like it. And most of the time that's maybe twice a week. And when I do it, it's still so therapeutic. And when I run 3 times a week, I'm like, oh, I should do it more often. I forget how good running is. So it's all within balance. But I think let's end off by answering those questions of people who are wanting to know what FitMom Stronger Round 2 is about, when the challenge is starting, and what one will gain from taking part and joining us on the 6-week program.
So FitMom Stronger is phase 2 of our strength training journey. FitMom Strong we launched in 2022 and we did 2 very successful rounds. So this is phase 2, but that said, if you didn't join FitMom Strong, definitely DM me if you're interested in Stronger, because you can still bring it back to basics and cope absolutely fine, even if you are a beginner. So it is 4 strength workouts a week. It's live classes with me. It's educations. It's all our resources and tools to get you to a point after the 6 weeks of being able to continue on the strength training journey and to really see proper tangible results and finally get to your goal, so that you never have to sign up to any one of these fad diets or juice cleanses or detoxes ever again, because we really are going to empower you and educate you to be able to continue on this journey forever. So yeah, it's phase 2 of the strength element, and then in the second half of the year we'll be launching FitMom Strongest. Who could have guessed? So yeah, it's if you want to come along for the ride with us, you really will walk away with an education as opposed to being slapped with a meal plan, and then after the 6 weeks you think, what now?